Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I would like to share with you a few seasonal decor items made using foraged materials. So I hope you're going to join me and let's get started. A family annual holiday workshop. We've done this for 3 years in a row. This year we just had it this past weekend, and the first project I want to share with you was a favorite. I made one of these birch, I'm calling this my birch bundle. I made one of these last year and everybody went crazy over it, so I wanted to bring the project to the workshop and I want to share it with you. So this is our birch here in this bucket I'm going to grab in a moment, and this is what is left over after the workshop. And this is something that you can, the stuff in my fireplace is from an ice storm that, from a few blocks away. My husband asked at the house, is it okay if we take some of this birch? They had it on the side of the road on the curb. And they said, absolutely, take as much as you like. We want to get rid of it. So that is from last year. I picked that, we picked that up and it's just been hanging out in the garage here. And, this year we weren't so lucky. And so we went down to Eastern Market, which is in Detroit here in Michigan. And anybody from around here knows all about Eastern Market. And we bought some birch in about, I'd say anywhere about 4.5 feet long. And my husband cut that up into pieces for me, varying from 15 to 18 inches. And so everyone was able to choose their birch, and we made a birch bundle. So I'm going to make one with you. So I'm just going to take some of this birch and I'm just going to I want to use it up and make a beautiful little arrangement out of this. Okay, so we're going to use, about that much. The other ones are a little bit thin. I don't think that they will work in my bundle, but I'm going to take this and see what we can do. First let me show you what we have over here. This was my little birch bar, and this was kind of fun. We have picks in the basket. These are artificial little picks that are just the best little things ever. And you can find these, at any of your craft stores. There's always picks. Find something that works for your, for what you're looking for. I have just some holly, bunch of holly that I cut up into small manageable pieces for everyone. We had some choices of ribbon. We have some jingle bells if you wanted a little bit of sparkle. Different, various ribbons. Wired ribbon works great for this. I also have these small little twiggy pieces that were left over from the pieces that we got from the ice storm. Okay, and these are small little pieces, and my husband cut quite a bit of birch, and then when he was done, I said, wait a minute, where's the small stuff? And he said, I thought all you wanted was the big stuff. And I said, no, I need the small stuff. So I, use that. And I want to show you some of these little small ones. They're just the cutest things ever. These are just small. This is, if it's 6 inches long, this is using the same materials that are all down here. Some teeny tiny little pine cones. And this is some velvety ribbon here that I had in like a taupe kind of shade. This one is made using, I made these little needle felted birds, and again the pine cones, little bits of the picks, and just using your scraps, using what you have. And these are also pieces that my husband did slice for me with his, power tools, and using them for decor. I have some in this cute little globe, I guess you would call it. I'm not sure what that's called, but I absolutely love it. It's fun for seasonal decorating, putting different things in there. This was from a gift exchange that, a family holiday gift exchange. So anyways, we're going to get started on our larger birch bundle here. Again, I have my birch. Today, instead of the artificial picks, I am going to, because I'm making a bigger bunch, I am going to be going with, this is fresh. This is from our arborvitae hedge that we have here at the house in the yard. And so I thought, that would be beautiful, and it's nice and fresh. I have some little some little berry picks, some jingle bells. These are quite sizable jingle bells that I purchased. It's a set of, I'm not sure how many. It was actually in with my wrapping paper tub, and they're kind of on a large scale because this is a larger group of logs that we're using. I'm going to try using this kind of silky ribbon. We have different pine cones that are from Michigan, and the ones on the left came from up north, and a place that we've all traveled to, and where my mom lives actually. These are the sweetest little pine cones, and I've foraged these together with my mom, and she also sent me a bunch. So anyways, these are the cutest little pine cones. They're, not even 2 inches long. All of these here are pine cones that my husband and I, there's certain places we like to go walk and collect pine cones. What I will tell you is they're all beautiful because, well, one, they're hand-picked. I've soaked them, and we did this with the children through the years, and wash them here. I just soak them in the hottest water that I can get out of my sink, and some Murphy's oil soap. And usually we go for the ones that are completely closed because those are going to open and be absolutely beautiful for you. The ones that people walk past and don't grab, because usually the ones that are open, the squirrels, they dig in there for the seeds and all that business. So anyways, these are just beautiful pine cones. I believe they're from a Scotch pine, not sure on that, but they are pine cones from Michigan. If you are not fortunate enough to have pine cones in your area, you can always buy them at the craft stores, and in a bag you might get a few that are a little squished, but for the most part they are very nice as well. So I have handpicked a few pine cones out of the bunch to do this project with you, so I don't waste your time on that. Again, in our greens. I have some twine, some wire cutters and wire, and some scissors for cutting my ribbon. I also have a glue gun and some glue sticks. Oh, and coffee. So I'm going to get started here. Okay, so what I want to say is, just in nature, like with all of us, nothing is perfect, and that's okay. You don't want everything to be perfect. Life would be boring, and, so we have a bunch of assorted birch here. This is a little messy, and that's okay. Once you get this put together and in place, it's going to, just kind of, you'll have to sweep up a little bit, but it'll be fine. So I'm just kind of looking at these and assessing my pieces that I have, and I like all of the perfect imperfections. I do, really kind of going to embrace all of that, and kind of just making a few decisions here with how we want this. This is going to be the front, so this feels kind of nice to me. There's a little bit of space there to work with for my greens and that. So first thing I'm going to do, now that I've nestled all that together, I'm going to cut some twine. This is just, twine. And I'm going to wrap this around this bundle a few times. Listen to that. I'm going to tie this in a bundle. This is just, we're not going to be able to hot glue these together because hot glue will not hold this. It's just too big. So I'm going with twine for the underneath. I went going under my twine twice. Okay. I'm going to tie a nice square knot here, doubling that so that it holds it tight. And this isn't going to be handled a lot. I'm just going to take it over and put it by my fireplace. So that is just going to kind of give us some stability. And like I had mentioned, we're going to use these real greens because just look at all that color. It's just beautiful. And again, everything in nature has a front and a back, a good side and the underside. Okay, this is the underside. And if you just flip that over, you can see how much more green you're going to get. Okay, I'm sure there's a reason. The sun hits it, and that's the top of the leaves, or the, whatever you would call this, on a conifer. And here is the other piece. So we're going to give this a little trim. Okay, so just kind of starting. This this is kind of a bit much, so I'm going to take some more of this off. I want to add in my ribbon and my decoration. I'm just getting a general, kind of a general shape right now of what we want to do. It's still kind of a lot. It's hiding too much of that natural beauty of the birch. It's kind of nice. And this is something that you could pick up at a florist. You could, hopefully you have, if you don't have any of this in your yard, maybe you know someone who does, or, you can always buy this in bunches. I know at all the places are selling greens right now. I know that a lot of the places that sell Christmas trees also will sell you the clippings if you ask, and they don't usually ask much for them, which is kind of nice. So I'm going to grab my ribbon, because we're going to put our ribbon on here, and I'm going with this beautiful silky kind of a green ribbon, and I'm going to cut a piece of this off so I have something to work with. And again, a lot of times your ribbon has a good side and a bad side, or an underside and a good side. And this ribbon happens to be the same, beautiful on both sides. This is like a silk, almost like a silk or a taffeta type of a ribbon. It's absolutely gorgeous. I got this on sale. Can't even tell you where, but I've had it for a few years, and I absolutely love it. On our birch bundle back in the back here, we did we started and wrapped to make our ribbon look more substantial. But with this one, this is just so luxe and beautiful that a lot of times it will tell you what it wants to do. And I did trim off a lot of those greens. I can always add back in if I would like into my arrangement here. It's just a lot of fussing and fiddling is really all this is. And I'm gonna give this a little trim there. There's our nice little tails, and then we'll do that on this side. Okay, so there's our base of our arrangement. I feel like I need a little bit more greens. Cover some of this up back here. I think this looks really beautiful already. So these aren't just sticking in. And because this is from my yard, I can replace this as it dries out throughout the season and keep it looking nice and fresh and all of that. So I have these jingle bells that I know they're kind of loud, but I have these beautiful jingle bells, and I thought it might be nice to try a couple of these in our arrangement. I've been saving them for the perfect occasion, and these were just from Target. I believe this box was $10 for 16 of these large jingle bells. I thought it was well worth the money, and I've had them for about 3 years, I would say, and I probably got them 20 or 30% off or something like that. So I'm going to try 2 or 3 of these. I also have some little red picks if we need them. Just little red berries, you know. Those are nice. And I have some pine cones. I'm just taking some wire here. I'm going to wire up these jingle bells. And this is my favorite wire. This is 26 gauge. It's my favorite size. It's not too, it's not too thin and it's not too thick. It's just in that happy place of where it's easy for me to work with, and it's just, I think, a really nice gauge. So I'm just kind of making sort of a little bit of a pick there out of that, and we're going to see what we think. That looks really pretty. I don't know, you guys will have to tell me what you think. These I'm going to wire into place because, like I said, I'm going to be changing up these greens if they need to be changed as the season goes on. So they stay fresh looking and all of that. So I just kind of stuck that in there, and I'm just going to wire it in place. Nothing fancy about that, just kind of, stick that in there. And one more. Just seems like a nice little holiday sparkle. So that what do you think? We could do that. We could stick it over here. Maybe we'll stick in the pine. I've got some pine cones here that, like I said, I hand picked. I would like to maybe just kind of start where you feel. Start where you feel is a good place. And I'm just gonna hot glue this pine cone in here because it looks like a good place. I could wire these in place too, but I think I'm just gonna start gluing. Now we do have red berries we could add. That looks kind of nice there. So maybe we will just kind of glue that in there like that. And we've got quite a gap right here, so maybe we'll do that. I think I'm just going to put the 2 jingle bells like this. I don't know what you guys think, but I kind of am really liking that for some reason. That's kind of pretty. And part of kind of looking at this is knowing when to stop. You know, sometimes, like they say, less is more. And I think I'm really enjoying this right now. And like I've said before, there are no evens in nature, although jingle bells usually come in pairs. We've got 3 pine cones, 2 little red berries, and I'm thinking that that is just really beautiful. So I think we could add in maybe we'll put 1 more pine cone down here. I don't know. And I don't know, guys, tell me what you think, but I think that this is finished. And it's just, you know, that simple. Our, you know, the arborvitae from the yard, our birch that's either from a fallen tree in your area. Maybe you pick that up on the side of the road. Maybe you're like me and you'll go to an Eastern market type of a place and purchase your logs and have your sweetie cut it for you. And you know, so that is our first project, and I'm telling you, I absolutely love this. And how festive, what a wonderful hostess gift this would be to take to someone's home. They would think that you went and bought this at a fancy store. So again, this is something that I had in my fireplace last year. I saw one at one of the home improvement centers, and the ribbons were a little matted in that, and I thought, you know what, I can go home and I don't have to purchase that. I can go home and make one and use my fluffy ribbons in any color that I choose. And so I hope that this green ribbon is showing up as nice on camera for you as it is for me here at home. I absolutely love this. There's just a little touch of red. I'm not doing much red in my decorating this year, just for a change. And I think these turned out just so lovely. Everybody did a great job. And so I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you try your hand at making a birch bundle. I want to show you once again the small birch bundles that I have over on my shelf. Again, I take you back over to my birch bar, and that's what I was calling it at the workshop. Everything that you need to make the perfect birch little decor item. And again, these are the small bundles, just cute as can be, with just a little bit of birch. If you just find twigs and not a big piece, you know what, that's okay. And you can even buy small pieces at the craft store. And what a cute little thing to sit on your desk and just remind you of a walk or the fall or any time of year. And these, I did make a few of them last year because, you know, I didn't have much birch, and a few of them were gifts. So that is that, and here's your little display of your little birch slices that are great for many things. And so that is our birch bundle. So for our second seasonal home decor item, what we are going to be making is some potpourri. This is again from all of our foraged items and a few items that you may have to dig out of your spice cupboard, or if you're really, you know, like me, you really don't keep cinnamon sticks around. They're great. I always have cinnamon, but no cinnamon sticks. I have more of my foraged greens, my foraged pine cones, my glue gun, wire cutters, the glue sticks, and cinnamon sticks. This happens to be, these are little red berries off of, I believe, winterberry branches from last year. When the branches died and the berries started shriveling up, I kept them all and put them in a dish and let them dry for a while and thought I'd be using them for crafting. So here we are. I also have some of those little scraps of birch that are in this cute little globe we're going to use. I have a container. This is a glass candle jar that I'm recycling and I have a measuring cup, and this is something that is strictly for crafting. My husband and I started a candle making hobby during COVID, so I do happen to have some candle fragrance oils, and these are absolutely lovely. There's all different flavors out there, fragrances, pardon me, on the market. This happens to be, a couple of these are from a local company called Wellington Fragrance, and I absolutely love them. They know us very well there. That is spruce and berries and red currant, very holiday for you today. I also have from Candle Science, which is another company that's awesome. We absolutely love everything candles and all about how to make candles. Fraser Fir, and I also have a gingerbread. So I'm keeping this very holiday for you and exciting. So we're going to make some potpourri. Using this, forgot to tell you, I also have some silverware that is used for our candle making, cleaning out jars, and different things like that. So that's a spoon and a knife that is strictly for candle making. We have these little pipettes, and this is what we use to measure out our fragrance oils. It is quite the bit of chemistry. So these are the little pipettes that are disposable. I have a couple of those here. I'm just going to start throwing some of my ingredients in my measuring cup because we're going to use this for mixing. We've got some pine cones. We're going to use some of this birch, or I'm sorry, oh my gosh, we're using birch, but this is actually our greens. And, you know, these really aren't going to mix up that well, but I'm going to put a few in here, and then we're going to add some of this birch. And again, these were the little scraps and the cute little pieces, just so that everything looks pretty and festive. Look at how cute that is. Oh my gosh. And these will absorb some of your fragrance oil and give your potpourri that great, awesome scent. So that is some of our stuff. We're going to add in some more pine cones and a little bit. You guys, this is so fun. I don't know if I'm dating myself by making potpourri, but you can still buy it in the stores. I have seen it there, and it's really easy to make your own. I was going to put some acorns in here because I do have a lot of those we've collected also, but they're calling to mind more fall for me than they are holiday and winter at this time. So I'm going to hold off on the acorns. I brought for you some of my favorite fragrances. The spruce and berry is just so good. It's like the ultimate if you wanted to make a fall, or I'm sorry, if you wanted to make a Christmas candle. This is just the ultimate fragrance to me. Makes great hand soaps. Of course, you have to look at the usage and the amounts. It's not the more the better. No, you have to really know what you're doing and follow the manufacturer's directions on what amounts of things to put in. And always when you're working with essential oils, that's a totally different ballgame. I don't really have much in the way of essential oils. We work with the fragrance oils for our candle making. And what I will tell you is, again, these are, you know, specially made for these fragrance oils. They will not dissolve. If you put fragrance oils into a lot of plastic containers, what will happen is it can melt the container. These are very concentrated, and you don't want a container that's going to melt. I used some enamel spoons when we first started, and the fragrance oils, the essential oils, melted the enamel right off the spoon. So you don't want that. So we're just going to add in maybe 10, 12 drops of our spruce and berries into our measuring cup. And this is something that I can't even tell you what kind of cup this is, what the plastic type is. I just know from working with the candle fragrances and my husband and I making candles that it works. It doesn't melt this container at all. So in that respect, I know that this is one that you can use, or glass, and it needs to be just strictly for crafting, which is what this is. So I'm just going to kind of, toss this around a little bit. And, this arborvitae is really beautiful. One good or bad thing, there's no scent. So if you're not a scent person, it's kind of a nice thing. If you want to add scent, it's nice that it doesn't have its own scent because you may not want a pine. I'm just kind of getting a little of that extra. There's always a little in there. Onto my greens. And this, we're going to put this mixture in our little candle jar here and make something very pretty. So you saw I just kind of, tried to toss that around a little bit. And this will absorb the oils. Normally, I would let it sit for a little while so the items, the wood and the pine cones and that, have time to really absorb those oils before I pour it in the cup so that I don't get any marks on my container on the inside, little smears or anything like that. But because we're on camera, I'm just going to fill this in here. But before I do that, I have some ribbon here. This is a velvet ribbon, very holiday. Oh my gosh, do you love this or what? So we're going to tie some of this around our container. So I went with red because it is so holiday. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue on my ribbon on the back side of where my ribbon is going to go to help to support that ribbon and keep it on our jar. Now you can buy fragrance oils in many places, but those companies that I just mentioned are two of our favorites. Okay, so I'm just tying a knot on here. Nothing special, just a knot like that. So we have our jar. This will just be nice to have on your table, in your powder room, in your laundry room, anywhere where you want a little scent and a little festive look. So our jar is dressed, and what we're going to do is we're going to, so when you're working with fragrance oils, it's really important that you don't get it on your skin, okay? So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of greens in here, just kind of strategically placed a little, to make a little nest, and it is irritating on your hands. So while I'm touching this, I'm just gonna use oh, it smells so good in here. Oh my gosh. So I'm just kind of going to add some of this into my jar. And what a great way to use these little scraps of birch and our pine cones and some more greenery. Some birch and more pine cones. I feel like I'm making a truffle, you guys, or a trifle, but actually making a potpourri trifle. How cute is this? And how festive and fun and holiday. Again, this would be a beautiful hostess gift. This would be a beautiful, in an entryway, on an entry table. Could be used in many, many places, and use all those details. And you can play with this and put the best side facing up, and not every piece needs to be scented. I'm just kind of wanting things to look pretty here and kind of nice. And a couple more cinnamon sticks and these little scraps of birch. Whoever thought they'd be living their best life here in this beautiful jar. Okay. See, I only put a glove on one hand. That was a bad idea. And for the finishing touch, we're going to just pour a little bit of these berries on. So save your berries. If you're fortunate enough to get a nice flower arrangement. Otherwise, you can get branches like this at Trader Joe's. I believe they're called winter berries. Pepper berries would be wonderful and beautiful, and all of that. Our birch bundles, these turned out so nice that I hope you enjoy them. I hope you make one. Merry Christmas.